Yeah, the channel and the videos got deleted. So this is a new channel. And there's just some videos up for now that I've made new, and a couple of old ones I had on my phone, but those are all gone. I would like to know what we can do if someone makes us angry. I think you asked me that once before. It really depends, it's every situation is unique. Your anger, first of all, is a natural emotion. So if someone makes us angry, it's not like we have to do something. If we think we have to do something about it, it would only be because there would be some restriction that somehow, about the anger, that we have to control our anger or anything like that. So I don't know. What we can do is acknowledge it, embrace it. It has the correct effect. Any natural emotion will have the correct effect. Like if anger is at some injustice or unfairness, then the anger is like saying no to it. You know what I mean? Oh, I see. Yeah. After acknowledging our anger, it makes more anger, thinking that I accept unfairness. Then just refuse to accept unfairness. But sometimes it can be like each situation is unique. It can be the right thing to say or do something outwardly. It can also be the wrong thing. So if it's not possible to say something outwardly or do something outwardly, then refusing inwardly to accept what is unfair has a transformative effect. And just the fact that you don't say anything outwardly doesn't mean that you're not expressing it, that you're not, it doesn't mean that you're accepting something unfair, And then it's good to just sort of let it go, I guess, in a way, or just like turn your eye away from the situation, so that we don't keep an eye on how things are progressing. Ultimately, the more what brings relaxation is the realization that we're not in control, that we're not responsible to make everything work, that we're not here to do things, we're not here to accomplish something. So that brings relaxation. And firmness comes from really following our sense of what's acceptable and what's not, because there is so much claiming around us, this kind of collective ego, let's say. If that wasn't there, then all this would be irrelevant to talk about, but because it's there, firmness, which is basically just staying with our own feeling rather than obeying and conforming and sort of sacrificing ourselves for some idea or some standard or some morality that's outside of ourselves. So firmness and relaxation really honestly bring everything that's necessary to the situation for it to work out as smoothly as possible. It's like when we are relaxed, let's say, and firm, then the doors are open. The doors open to for sort of all nourishment to come in. Yeah, the only time we are left to our own devices is when we're not firm, or when we take so much stress, which is just a way of saying that we're thinking we're responsible to make everything work, to please everybody around us and stuff like that. That's like a claiming. It's like saying, no, I need to do everything. So then it's like the cosmos or the universe or God, whatever you want to say. It's like, okay, then, I'm not going to insist, So those are really the keys. If everybody was firm, there would be no unfreedom in the world. There would be no what we call suffering. There would be no cruelty, Yeah. How do we see that we are firm? What does it exactly mean? I can explain it to you via an example. Let me think of something. Say you are at school, you're a child at school, yeah? And someone is getting bullied, and people maybe you consider them your friends, they're bullying this other child, and they're telling you to join in. So then there's like if I join in, it doesn't feel right to me, but then I will get approval from my friends. If I don't join in, they might turn on me, they might not like me, worrying about what they might think about me. Yeah. So in that situation, being firm means to go with what you feel. What do you feel? You don't want to bully, you don't want to join in. So you're firm. You stay with that. That's being firm. So not accepting what feels unacceptable. And there's a difference there between what society or the collective norm would say is acceptable, but just what we ourselves feel to be unacceptable. What feels right, yes. What doesn't feel right, no. Just because it feels that way. And that kind of shows, it has a kind of humility to it, because it's not that we're following some standard. There's no like conformity to some, oh, this is considered unacceptable, okay, I won't accept it. This I should accept because it's considered acceptable, okay, I'll accept it. No. Just because we feel something to be unacceptable, we might not even know why. The example of the bullying at school is quite obvious, but simply to go with how we feel and to be firm about that, to stay on it, to not be convinced of something else because someone says, or everybody around us could be telling us that go towards the right, and you don't feel somehow it doesn't feel right. Something feels off about it. So you prefer not to go right. That would be true firmness. Firmness would also not allow us to give so much attention to the chatter in the mind, which just throws out negativity all day. Yeah, about how things are, about the world, about our life, about the weather, about whatever. Yeah, it would be a kind of firmness. Firmness would be the expression of real humility towards what life is, which is a gift. It's a mystery. It's love. Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of it's the natural response, and it's also the tool with which the this collective ego structure gets chipped away at. While we don't allow it to enter our own space, it diminishes in strength because it only stands by our approval and our belief in it. So when we withdraw our belief from it and we don't support it, we refuse to support it, it's already gained a little less strength. And the only thing, if you think about it, the only thing really stopping us from taking back our approval of it is what other people might think. Really, I never realized how important it is to stay with what is in us, but it's not easy in society. Yeah, no problem. It's only society that would say that it's not easy. Really, it's the easiest thing in the world. If you think about a mother has a child, how easy is it for her to love the child? That's how easy it is. It's our original connection. Yeah, in the same way that a mother and a child are connected. There is no separation there ever. So even though it might look that way, even though something might look difficult, it doesn't mean that it is. Yeah, even though like a child is playing in the living room, it doesn't mean it doesn't know that there's a kitchen in the house. So it's the same way. Like somebody might even be free, but because it doesn't correspond to how enlightenment or freedom or self-realization or blah 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 blah, how it's been painted and how what we think other people might be going through or have experienced or whatever, that it doesn't conform to that, so then we miss it. And actually we are free. There is no unfreedom, really. There is just energy given to another standard, a complex, like a set of beliefs, you know. And it is important in the sense that that's all we have. If you think about it, if you look back on your life and you see all different situations that have gone on, there's always been a sense of like I don't know, like your outlook is the same, you know? And the outlook is emotive. It's a feeling thing. And we are living life in a body, so there are emotions, there are outer circumstances which can seem to like make us feel a certain way, or you know, there are certain emotional responses to what goes on. Freedom isn't like a kind of a clinical response to everything. It's not like a being completely like, oh, now there's this neutrality, which is like there's a bliss that runs through every situation. Nothing's gonna ever make us feel sad or angry or anything like that. It's more an absence of reasons that we give to not be true to our how we feel in each situation. That we run after things which have no integrity. Yeah, including beliefs about what spirituality is, what non-duality is, what God is, and so on. It's when there's nothing else. It's the natural. It's the default state, if you like. So, like, imagine you're born, and then the outside world really never comes much into the picture. Yeah, in the sense that there is no pressure from society, this, that, just the natural way, like just natural responses. That's freedom. It's not some stage that we get to. It's not some final sort of reaching the tip of the mountain. I am afraid of pain, illness, vulnerability, helplessness. Okay. That's a statement. I don't know what to say about that. What can I do? I don't know. It really depends. It can be just looking at those things, really facing them. It can be going to a psychologist. It can be talking with someone. I don't know. It can be a whole number of things. But bottom line is that those fears are collective fears. Those, especially when we come into contact with anything that would direct us inwardly, and to not rely on this outside collective pattern or dynamic, or what's it called, paradigm, as the source of our help, because that's what it presents itself as, right? That through attaining some kind of success, we will have the recognition, we will have sufficiency, we will be recognized. Then there's so help comes from other people, from status, from standard, from money. So if we are given over to that as the source of our help, then we are open to this constant dynamic of helplessness, vulnerability, strength. Those are not dynamics. They're not dualities that exist by nature. So if that's seen that that's not the source of our help, there's a withdrawal of our energy from that, right? A desire for something deeper, for something true. And when that happens, all the fears come in to kind of pull us back. Yeah. It's just a way of saying, but it's as if that collective energy doesn't want us to leave it as the sole source of help, because that would diminish its strength. So its endeavor is always to keep everybody attached to it, obeying it. Yeah, it's not a passive thing. It's an active thing that is constantly, let's say, recruiting, or doesn't want to let you go as a customer. It's like you have a contract with a phone company, or electricity company, or water or gas, and there are other competitors in the field, but they don't want to let you go, so they will make you offers, and if you stay, you'll get this and this, that, this. If you go, you'll be vulnerable to higher prices, this, that, this, that. It's the same. So the fears are those. It's like someone on the phone trying to convince you to stay. That's it. Ted, still, real nourishment, quote unquote, can often come through relationships with others, no? Without being needy, pandering, dependent. Yeah, absolutely, of course. Through anything. It can come through material things also. It's just a matter of like, then it's like everything that is visible in form is an expression of the true source, let's say, right? So if there's no dependency of those visible things on each other, then it's just a celebration of diversity of things. Then there are certain, of course, there'll be attractions to certain things that you like just because of your uniqueness, or people that you have a connection with. Of course, those are nourishment. It's one of the biggest nourishments, of course, are relationships. Yeah. I just mean that other people are not your source of help. It doesn't mean you can't receive help through someone, but then it comes through them. It's not like it's the difference between hanging out with people, sitting on a couch, having a nice glass of wine and talking and having a really enjoyable time, to sitting in some tribunal where there are people who are sitting there who have declared that they are the authorities. And I'm not talking here that people do that consciously or anything. It's just, in this case, the people would be ideas. These things are authorities. We are the ones who know what's going on. We are the ones who say okay or not okay. And you need to, as long as you give us your loyalty, you will be looked after. Yeah. So it's like, it's again, it's the exclusivity of groups in general, and which is very strong among humans. This exclusivity, humans are at the top of the order. As long as we as a human family take care of each other, this is what life is all about. The promotion of human life, just humans. This is what the saving the planet is all about. It's to ensure our survival and so on. Yeah, it's all about that. So this exclusivity to the exclusion of other forms of life, that's the system within which we're operating. Like, my true self is my true help, sorry, is found within that context. And how does that come? Through striving, ambition, success, achievement, and so on. Approval, ultimately. But it's not because humans have this exaggerated self-importance, or this mistaken belief that they are the center point of creation. It doesn't mean that human life is wrong, yeah, or that humans are somehow some aberration. No, it's just about taking our true place again, you could say. If anything is the expression of the true source, I just have to put this laptop down somehow nicely. If anything is the expression of the true source, then also illness, pain, painful things that happen to us. In a way, yes. So, look, if this context, yeah, this false reality, which is based on human centeredness, yeah, if this whole dynamic is the context in which our lives get played out, then so-called fates, like let's say adversities that creates, because it will automatically create adversities because it's not in line with nature, let's say. So it doesn't get nourished. So it will always come off the tracks. It'll always have some negative consequence. Okay. But those negative consequences are like limits that help us bounce back to our original nature. Yeah. So even natural disasters, things that, like you say, happen to us, negative, let's say, are like bumping into our limits. You understand what I mean? They bring us back. It's like having gone so much in a certain direction, then it's like it throws us back onto ourselves. So you could, in that sense, you can say that these so-called negative consequences are actually love, because it's not like it's not like we're abandoned. We're actually brought back with a nice slap to to have an opportunity to evaluate. Yeah. And the more extreme the adversity is, it's just a result of how much we've allowed ourselves to go along with things. The signals are always there. Yeah. But if we ignore, if we override our sense of what's acceptable, what's true, what's correct, again and again and again and again, the adversity becomes stronger. Well, all I can say is that you say you don't feel brought back, you feel lost. That's also a kind of a circumstance that's an opportunity to see why. It's actually an opportunity to the admittance that you don't know. That brings about true humility. It can bring about true humility. See you later, Ted. So we have to also see how like pride operates, like anything that we consider to be us and there is some pride about is a stumbling block. So the popular saying, like just now we're talking about admitting that we don't know, like there's a we're not in control. There's a certain humility about not needing to know. But there is a common philosophical statement, isn't there, which is like, I know that I know nothing. Maybe it was Socrates, I can't remember. So that can also be taken on as a pride thing. Yeah. Oh, I have the insight that I know nothing. I'm not saying that's what's going on here. This is just what you wrote, just brought that up. So the subtleties of pride about like, oh, but there's always some kind of argument. Oh, but I am so sincere, or I am so diligent, or observing, or I am trying, but still things aren't working. Anytime there is this but, it doesn't work, but it's shit for me, but, it's like an excuse. It's an excuse to not give it a chance, even. But it's really there's a limit to how much we can talk about this, because on a personal level, the thing that helps is always unique, you know. So whatever unique configuration of whatever is going on, for some it can come in this form, for someone it'll come in this form. It's that would be a different thing. Then it's like a personal conversation. It's like a psychological thing. You understand what I mean? Not give a chance for things to not give a chance for the correct perspective to come, for some kind of clarity, insight, for some kind of opening. If we feel shit, if we feel lost, there's obviously a need for some input, for some clarity to come. But for that to be able to enter, there has to be some openness. That's what I mean by giving a chance. What about bad, painful things that was done to me by others or by myself? I want to forgive myself, but I just feel how stupid I was. Well, simple fact is that the past is in the past. That's it. It doesn't have to have any bearing on now. Yeah. So this is why also the conditioning, the false beliefs and all that, they can't override our natural feeling ultimately. There's always a choice in every single, let's say, moment to stand up, to not accept it. So there's no need to, it would only be the identification with what has happened. Yeah, the identification with what has happened will bring up emotions also. And then through repetition, those things get kind of crystallized and confirmed all the time, like with self-pity, with certain images that we have of ourselves. Oh, I'm like this, I'm like that, I've suffered so much, whatever. So forgiveness is a natural thing. It's not like it's not even, it would be a kind of a noble thing, like to say, oh, I forgive you. Because ultimately, if you look at it, any action that has been done, what we call negative or evil, is done out of ignorance. So like real forgiveness, let's say, is just a natural response out of clarity. But see, the firmness is really standing up to self-blame, to self-pity, to all these things. And for things to become clear, that's not our area of expertise. That's not something we can achieve. Insights come. We can't make them come. Help comes. We can't make it come.